You know, I feel like we've been focusing a lot of attention on vacation planning and information and all of that, which is great because that's what we're doing here, right? We're trying to give you the information that you want and need to know so that you can have a great vacation. But we haven't been doing enough exploring, you know, just wandering around, checking things out. So I figure that's what we're gonna do today. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to EPCOT, where today we're gonna focus some attention on World Showcase. I wanna wander around, explore a little bit, of course, have a good time, and we're gonna do something a little bit different. I'll share some information about that with you once we get back there, but you know, we can't just sit here in World Celebration the whole time, so let's get moving. Now this morning, I think we're gonna start in Mexico. Of course, I'm taking this path by the Odyssey, but I can't help but take a second and point out the Christmas tree has finally gone up here at EPCOT. You know, we've been talking about Christmas decorations here at Walt Disney World, checking them out as we wander around the resort, and some of you have shared some of your favorites. EPCOT, I don't know if it made the list for any of you, which I can see why, because I feel like EPCOT definitely lacks in the Christmas decoration department, which I do think is kind of unfortunate. You know, because we do have Festival of the Holidays here at EPCOT, so it's almost like holiday central. Of course, when the Festival of the Holidays rolls around, we'll be here, we'll be exploring around, but you know, we'll save that for a little bit later. I know there's been a lot of holiday talk recently. It might be a little too early for some of you. Anyway, here we are in Mexico, which is one of my favorite pavilions, mainly because of the fact that when you go in this pyramid, it's nighttime. Anyway, now that we're here in Mexico, which for so many of you is considered to be like the official start of a trip around World Showcase. I know some people are Team Canada, other people are Team International Gateway. Let me know where you like to start your trip around World Showcase in a comment down below. I know that this can be a really heated debate, so keep it civil. Anyway, now that we're here, I want to share some fun facts with you about Mexico. We're going to do this for every one of the World Showcase pavilions, by the way. I've never done this before, and Russ threw the idea out right as I was walking out the door, so I was like, why not, right? So I just popped in fun facts about Mexico into my phone, and two stood out to me. The first is that chocolate, I love chocolate. Do you guys like chocolate? Apparently got its start right here in Mexico. It says Mexico is considered the birthplace of chocolate, and the cacao trees used to make it are a key part of the country's history, which I certainly didn't know. This one is really interesting though. It says that the color TV was invented in 1940 by a Mexican from Guadalajara. That's a pretty fun fact, right? Actually, that's a kind of interesting fun fact too, because Russ and I just watched this thing on YouTube, or was it Instagram? I can't remember, but nonetheless, it was this clip from different TV stations around the world when they transitioned from black and white to color. It was so fun to see how different TV stations went about making that transition. So anyway, if I can find it again, I will pop a link in the description down below so you can check it out. But just like that, now we're in Norway. I always just pass right by Norway because I feel like it's super tight and crowded in here. Anyway, let's pull off for a second and see what fun facts we can come up with. This one is super interesting. It said that salmon sushi was introduced to Japan by the Norwegians in 1980s, or in the 1980s. Before modern refrigeration and aquaculture, it was risky to eat raw salmon. That's really interesting. I did not know that. Here's another interesting one. It says that a Norwegian invented modern skiing. Do you guys ski? I've never done it. And I don't know, I just don't feel like it's for me. But let me know if it's your thing and your favorite place to go skiing in a comment down below. Have you ever gone skiing somewhere super interesting? Russ was into snowboarding, which I never got into either. Just not really into winter sports, really. I was into other things. I have to ask him what his favorite place to go snowboarding was. You know, it's funny. Now that I'm thinking about it, Russ and I have a lot of similar interests. We do a lot of the same things, and we've known each other for a really long time. But despite that fact, this is not one of those things that we've ever done together, like winter sports, skiing, snowboarding, anything like that. Not that I'm complaining. I don't really have interest in the winter sports, nor do I think that I have the coordination to do that type of thing. Motorsports are more my wheelhouse, but I never really thought about that until just now. So now you know, fun fact about us. Another fun fact, though we do enjoy a lot of the same things, one thing that I don't enjoy that Russ does, Kung Fu movies. Now you know. But of course, our next stop is going to be China. One of my favorite pavilions to wander around kind of early in the morning. There's only so much going on back here, though there is some fun stuff going on back here. So I always think it's worth stopping in. You know, I do have a soft spot for this pavilion, even though I've yet to visit China, because I did live in Okinawa for a number of years, and there's a lot of Chinese influence in Okinawan architecture, especially in their castles. So this, it still kind of feels like home to me, even though there are some distinct differences between the two places. Anyway, let's talk fun facts. All right, now I have to be honest with you, got some interesting facts here, but none of this has really taken me by surprise. You know, giant pandas are native to China. Table tennis is considered China's national sport. That's kind of a fun fact. And the Chinese invented paper money, which was first used in the 7th century by merchants. It then says by the 11th century, it was widely used due to a copper shortage. That's kind of interesting. The Chinese also invented gunpowder. Is this something that's just common knowledge to me? Or did you guys know this stuff too? Like, does this seem like common knowledge to you as well? You know, sometimes things like this can be tricky because, what was that? Just because we know something doesn't necessarily mean that others know it too. That's one of the things that I always try and keep in mind whenever we're having conversations, and that's why you might hear me explaining something that seems like, why are you even taking the time to touch on this? It's because I don't know what you guys know or what you don't know. So it's no sweat off my back. Just take a second and cover it again just in case, you know. Anyway, let's keep making our way around. Also, for the record, before we make our way officially off to the next place, I absolutely do want to visit China. It's on my list of places to go. There are so many places that I want to go, and I just haven't had the chance to get there. Life is funny, you know, and different phases of life give us the opportunity to go places. Other phases kind of put some limitations on us. Past however many years have been filled with limitations, which, you know, it is what it is. Just kind of keep on trucking. I also have some friends that live out in China, so I'm kind of hoping that if we do visit, we might be able to meet up with them and say hello. So of course our next stop along the way is the refreshment outpost, which isn't officially a pavilion, though there is space behind the refreshment outpost where they absolutely could put a pavilion. That's better. Check this out. I'm never back here because it's always filled with kids, which is good. But since there's no one here today, might as well take a quick look. Lots of Coca-Cola stuff back here. Maybe we should look up some Coca-Cola fun facts. I mean, I could stand to learn a few fun facts about Coca-Cola. What about you? Oh, so this is an interesting one. It says the original bottle was shaped like a cocoa bean. That's interesting. Oh, okay, this one is about McDonald's. Do you guys like McDonald's? I sure do. Here's a fun fact about Disney related to McDonald's. I know we're kind of diverting here for a second, but they used to serve McDonald's fries over at Magic Kingdom. Seriously. I want to say Restaurantosaurus also served McDonald's as well, if memory serves me right. It's too bad that they don't have McDonald's in the parks anymore. I know that, like, some people are like, why, you know? But I do think that it's a great, safe option, you know, and it's kind of quirky and fun. Anyway, obviously, there was reason to get rid of it, whether it was because they didn't have that partnership anymore or whether people just didn't care for McDonald's. But who couldn't stand to eat some McDonald's fries walking around Magic Kingdom? I mean, I know I'd be getting McDonald's fries if I was walking around Magic Kingdom. Anyway, so back to our Coca-Cola fact. This says that Coca-Cola advised McDonald's to bundle soda with burgers and fries to create the extra value meal in 1993. I didn't know that. Oh, okay, one more before we move on. Coca-Cola was the first soft drink in space. I mean, we're learning a lot today. Now, when I say that there's enough space back there for another pavilion, I mean it. In fact, when that big, giant, harmonious barge was removed, it was actually stored back there for a while. I believe it was dismantled back there as well. Now, when it comes to the why of, not expanding out or including any new pavilions in World Showcase, it's probably anyone's guess. I know that over the years they've floated some ideas and they've fallen through for one reason or another. Then of course, they're staffed by cultural representatives, so there's the matter of like visas, paperwork, all of that good stuff. So, there's a lot that goes into putting a new pavilion here at World Showcase, at least in my opinion. If you don't really need it, you don't have anyone to fund it, because of course, there are sponsors that help build these pavilions. In some cases, the nations themselves help build the pavilions and finance them. Morocco is a great example of that. If everything doesn't fall into place just right, I can imagine that it's like, why? Why expand out? We don't really need to. My guess is that that's EPCOT's situation. But anyway, we are now in Germany. I don't know if you could hear the music. Of course, the smell of pretzels and beer is filling the air. Not really. It's really just the smell of caramel popcorn, which does smell pretty great. Anyway, you know the drill. Sit down, look up some fun facts about Germany. Found just the right spot in front of this definitely not abandoned shop here in the Germany pavilion. Okay, so immediately, this first fact caught my attention. It says Germany was the first country to adopt daylight savings time in 1916. So they're the ones responsible. I'm kidding. It also looks like they're the birthplace of many everyday items, including the printing press, MP3 technology, and the modern caravan. Oh, okay, here's another fun one, perfect for this time of year as well. The holidays are right around the corner. The Christmas tree. The Christmas tree tradition, that is, originated right here in Germany. That's pretty cool. Now, when it comes to Christmas, we do have a Christmas shop right here in the Germany pavilion. Of course, they're here all year long, so you can get all of your holiday stuff. No matter when you're visiting, they do have some great things in this shop. Absolutely beautiful. We'll have to come here and comb through everything a little bit later, but I say today we keep moving. Does that sound good to you? Guys, that shop smelled so good. Not only was that caramel popcorn wafting, but they had this candle in there as well. It was like some apple candle, and it smelled like candy. It was $31. Do I want it? Yes. Do I need it? No. Will it absolutely encourage me to eat nothing but apple flavored candy? Yes, which is why, as you can see, I don't have it. But all right, moving right along, we've made our way to Italy, another place that's on my list of places I would love to visit. Also, while I'm thinking about it real quick, I always get questions about how I can pull this off. See, it's just me back here. I think there's one cast member somewhere back there sweeping. You're gonna wanna brace yourself, because the answer is simple, painfully so. I just get here early. I get here early, get ahead of the crowds, and I get this basically to myself. It's pretty great and pretty effective, which is why it's like the biggest piece of advice that I'm always giving you guys. Just show up early and it'll change your entire experience. Anyway, some fun facts about Italy. Here's an interesting one. This speaks to me, of course, as a coffee drinker. Italians drink 14 billion espressos each year, and over 20,000 Italians work as baristas. Wow. That one, I mean, I suppose, why not, right? Like, it makes sense, but I had no idea. It's so interesting. Every time I think about visiting Italy and the things I want to try when I go to Italy, it's always, like Italian food. Never really think of espresso, but maybe that needs to make its way to the top of my list. Obviously, they know what they're doing over there. Oh, here's an interesting one. Pinocchio was first published in an Italian newspaper. Wow. And 13 of Shakespeare's 38 plays were set in Italy. Super interesting. The shortest of jaunts from Italy has brought us to the smokehouse. Of course, we're in the United States. I gotta be honest with you, I think the US is a pretty cool place. Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty big place. There's a lot going on here, so there's a lot to see and do. But I didn't really appreciate that until I moved away from my hometown. Of course, you know, we traveled to Florida every year or two, but I didn't really explore too much outside of New England, let's say, until I moved out of the country and then moved back. And at that point, I really, I hit the ground running. I was all over the place and I saw a ton. And I don't know, I gained an appreciation for the US that I never had before. So I do think that it's pretty awesome here. There's a lot to see, lots to do, and it's such a diverse place. Like, there's literally so much going on because it's so huge. Anyway, we do need to talk about some fun facts, because I'm not going to leave you hanging just because we're in the good old US of A. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, here's one. Abraham Lincoln was a licensed bartender. I had no idea. He was the only US president to have a bartending license. Fun facts. Here's another one. Maine has a desert. Isn't that cool? I actually, I experienced a desert that I wasn't expecting to experience when I was driving home from Washington State. I ended up in the middle of a desert. It was the wildest thing I experienced on that entire trip. That trip, in fact, that very day was also the day that I drove for the longest stretch of time that I've ever driven in my entire life, which was probably one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made road tripping. I just pulled too many hours and it wasn't safe. There's really nothing else to say about it other than that. Fortunately, I made out okay, but definitely should not have done it like I did. Of course, we're now in Japan, another place that is near and dear to my heart. You know, for Russ and I, Japan pretty much feels like home. Even though we're both from Massachusetts, it's in Japan where we really got our feet underneath us. We learned how to do this life thing, you know. Even though we did know each other prior to our move to Japan. Anyway, let's talk about some fun facts. One of the first things that comes up here is punctuality. It says Japanese trains are known for being punctual with an average delay of only 18 seconds. Yeah, totally. In fact, here's another fun fact based on my personal experience. It's like a huge deal when a train is late. I saw this only a few times, but it did happen, especially when I was living in the Hiroshima area, traveling back and forth from Hiroshima. In fact, at the time, you could even get little kind of excuse slips that said the train was, in fact, late. So you could present that to whoever it is that you might be meeting. Punctuality is a big deal in Japan, which I actually liked, but I know it's not for everybody. Okay, here's another one. This is actually a really good one. Vending machines. Japan has a wide variety of vending machines used for more than just snacks and drinks. They got vending machines for everything in Japan, and they're all over the place. Like, seriously, you can't kick a rock without hitting a vending machine. I absolutely loved living in Japan. Both of us did. It was a good time, really interesting culture, a lot of things that we learned about ourselves and just life in general, living out that way. But anyway, it's a conversation for another day. For now though, welcome to Morocco. This is one of the forgotten pavilions here at EPCOT World Showcase. There used to be so much more going on here, but now it's kind of a mostly abandoned space. At least that's what it feels like. You can meet Jasmine back here. I wonder if Aladdin comes out, maybe every once in a while. And they do have a sangria bar, I think, just around the corner, but I don't know when it's open or if it's still a thing. Anyway, let's dig into some fun facts about Morocco. This is another one of those places I've always wanted to visit, haven't gotten there yet, but I don't really know much about Morocco outside of the location, so let's see what we can find out. Okay, so check this out. We've got another skiing fun fact, which I did not see coming. Apparently, Morocco has one of Africa's top ski resorts, which is located between 8,700 feet and 10,600 feet above sea level. The ski season runs from December to March. Seriously, I had no idea. Here's an interesting one. Morocco has the world's oldest university, the second oldest ruling dynasty in the world, and the largest film sets outside of Hollywood. So interesting. All right, so on our way out of the pavilion, I did take a look at that sangria bar area. I think it's a sangria bar. Anyway, I did take a look and it doesn't seem to be open. It is a little bit later now. I'm just kind of strolling our way through World Showcase, so it should be open if it was gonna be open. Let me know if you've ever seen that place open, if you've ever tried it. Let us know if you have a favorite menu item from there. I'm not convinced that it's there regularly. I feel like it's something that's probably pretty hit or miss. You know, just like pretty much everything else in that pavilion. It feels like they're limping it along, but you know, maybe they'll do something with it soon. I'm not holding my breath. They did just redo some of the tile work at that pavilion, which I'm not even gonna get started on that one. Anyway, we're about to make our way into France. I'm really looking forward to the fun facts that we might learn about France today. I wonder if there'll be a cheese-related fun fact. I immediately think of cheese every single time I think of France. Cheese and wine. So maybe. We'll just have to wait and find out. Now, France is one of those pavilions that can get a little crowded, a little quick. There's a lot going on back there. So in order to discuss our France fun facts, we're coming to one of my favorite places to hang out here between France and the UK, which is this like out of the way, down the stairs section of EPCOT, just along the water. Great views over here. Very breezy today as well. I don't know if you can see the rough waters we have out here. I'm sure you can hear the wind. Anyway, let me set you down in one of my favorite spots, give you a look at one of my favorite views, and let's see what we can come up with. What did I tell you? A cheese-related fun fact. France produces over 1,600 varieties of cheese, including soft, hard, and blue vein cheeses. Many of these cheeses are protected by regional labels. I don't know what that means, but that's a lot of different types of cheeses. Oh, here's an interesting one. Croissants were actually invented in Austria in the 13th century, but the French are known for perfecting their flakiness. Here's another fun one. Why not, right? We're sticking to the theme of food in France. French toast is not actually from France. I mean, right? It's probably right up there with French fries. This says the dish may have originated in ancient Rome, where people fried bread-soaked milk and eggs. All right, one more France food fun fact. This one says, France was the first country to make it illegal to burn or throw away food. Wow, that's so interesting. I honestly feel like we are learning so much today. I didn't expect this to be as interesting as it turned out to be. I mean, I knew that there are a lot of things that I don't know, right? I'm very aware there's a lot that I don't know, but I didn't expect it to be as interesting as it is, any of these facts. Anyway, let's go to the UK. Now, of course, I can't say for certain because I don't look up any of these fun facts ahead of time, but I just have a feeling that the UK is gonna take us by surprise. So let's take a seat, do the smallest amount of research, and see what we can find. All right, so we have a few really interesting ones here right off the bat. London has the world's longest running show, and over 300 languages are spoken there. London is also considered a forest by the UN because of its many parks and trees. Interesting. It also says that the UK's national dish is chicken tikka masala. The real name, or I suppose you could say the original name of Big Ben, is Elizabeth Tower, and it was renamed in 2012. And this is super interesting. The UK is home to Windsor Castle, the world's oldest and largest inhabited castle. Lots of fun facts there. I think the fact that London is considered a forest, at least according to the UN, is probably the most interesting thing that we just learned. Really interesting stuff. Let me know though, what did you think about that? I mean, what even is a forest, right? I guess it depends on who you're asking, but just fascinating stuff, fascinating. Anyway, we're now in Canada, our final stop on today's little fun fact adventure. I feel like this one is another one that might take us by surprise. You know, it's right down the road, but there's gotta be things that we don't know about Canada. Gotta be some fun facts. Still working up there, by the way. Let's actually make our way up there. Be a good place to chat. Whoa. We just start off by saying that this bench is very bowed. So the goal is to see if we can find some fun facts that aren't related to maple leafs, maple syrup, or hockey. Those all seem pretty obvious. I guarantee we're gonna have a hockey fun fact. So anyway, let's just jump in. Canada has the longest coastline in the world at 243,042 kilometers. That's pretty interesting. This coastline is home to many plants and animals, as you might imagine it would be. The maple leaf, of course, has been the symbol of Canada since the 19th century and is most well known as their main feature on the Canadian flag. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the Canadian flag. It's really easy to identify. And there are two national sports in Canada, to include hockey and lacrosse. I knew about hockey, didn't know about lacrosse, but hey, we're learning things today. Well, just like that, we've made our way all the way around World Showcase, ending in Canada, which I'm sure is going to make a lot of you really happy, especially all of you who are Team Mexico. Of course, like I said, I want to know what your favorite path around World Showcase is, or at least where it starts. Now, as you can see, we are definitely walking through a much more crowded World Showcase, or EPCOT I should say now. It's because it's a little bit later in the day. Like I said though, that's the power of arriving early. We're already ahead of this crowd. And no, we didn't eat around World Showcase or anything today, but we absolutely could have. I've got a banana in my bag. I'm gonna eat it on my way back to the car. But just think about how different it would have been if we would have waited until now to get here. Be walking with the flow of people. Just, it's better to arrive early if you can, you know? But anyway, I think that about does it for our day here at EPCOT. The only thing left to do is to make our way out, but I hope you had a good time. I hope you had a fun day wandering around with me, maybe learning a little something new. I don't know about you, but I definitely learned some things that I didn't know. And honestly, I'm looking forward to going home and looking more into those things, you know, like the forest thing. And then I want to look up that skiing mountain in Morocco. You know, like that's, I don't know, just super interesting. I want to see some pictures. I want to see more. So let me know if any of this, oh, monorail's going by. You can't see it, but you can hear it. There it is, kind of off in the distance. Anyway, let me know what stood out to you. Did you know any of these fun facts? Did you learn anything new? Are there any fun facts that you want to add to the list? Pop them in a comment down below. I'd love to hear it. But anyway, I think that's all for now. It's time to head out, make my way to the Jeep, eat a banana on the way, you know, all the good stuff. But anyway, with all that said, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day wherever it is you are, and I hope you join me on the next one. Until then, bye guys.